Welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the prelim fights for UFC Fight Night 172, Figueiredo versus Benavidez 2. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card and our first prelim fight. So in our first prelim fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Sergey Spivak versus Carlos Felipe. So this fight is real straight up right here. Because Carlos Felipe is a fighter that has never fought anywhere near decent level competition, like not even respectable level competition, like this straight up can-tear competition. And he himself is probably can-tear as far as what we've seen. Like, there's not much tape on him, and from what we've seen, it's pretty low quality. I mean, like very low quality, like even lower than regionals, like backyard tier quality, in my opinion. He's not the biggest fighter. He doesn't have no amazing attributes, so I don't see anything spectacular about him. He's young in age, so he can get better, but 6 feet tall, not a really muscular, kind of chubby. He could definitely probably make light heavyweight or middleweight in the future. And no real technical skills or any good backgrounds or anything. So look at that Sergey Spivak, not the greatest fighter either, but he'll have a 2-inch height advantage. I think he'll have a little bit of a reach advantage as well. Definitely an experience advantage. I think he's just clearly better in every area. Even though his level of competition that he's actually beat isn't the best, he still fought some notable names, whether they were past their prime or past their even sell-by day. But even then, he's beating some decent fighters here and there, and he's lost to some of the very best, some of the best in the UFC. So look at this fight. I think Sergey Spivak could beat this guy any way he wants. He could take him down and submit him if he wants, like real easily. He could knock him out in the first round, but I think he fills him out, picks him apart, like finds his range, finds his timing, finds his setups, finds his combinations in the first round. Then in the second round, he quickly puts him away via TKO. So in this fight, I got Sergey Spivak via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Ramos versus Ramos Tsarukyan. And look at this fight right here. I just think Tsarukyan has a style that should be Ramos. I think he's the faster, cleaner striker. I think he has more to his arsenal. Ramos more so this explosive power puncher as far as on the feet. And he's very physical and a world class. I think even in a BJJ world champion. So on the ground, if he can get you down, he can do damage. I mean, he can quickly put you away, take a limb, take a neck, put you to sleep. He's a very dangerous guy, very powerful. But going against Ramos Tsarukyan, he got one of those Dagestanis or one of those Russian type fighters. He has good, unlike a lot of the other guys like Khabib, he has a lot of different arsenal on his feet, spinning back kicks, spinning head kicks, good footwork. So he has a striking game as well, good wrestling, good takedown defense. So I see him the more well-rounded fight. I think he'll have, like a lot of these Samo fighters, a lot of these wrestler type fighters, they have the advantage in choosing whether the fight goes to the ground or not. And he'll have the height, the reach, and the youth over Ramos, the speed over Ramos. I think Ramos really in this fight, he just has better BJJ and power. But I think Tsarukyan is a better striker. He's a young fighter, taller, longer, better striker, more arsenal, probably higher fight IQ, probably. Experience is definitely on Ramos' side, but I feel like Tsarukyan should be able to outstrike him on the feet, avoid those big bombs of Ramos, mixing some takedowns here and there just to score points or to slow down Ramos, and kind of just avoid getting in a real grappling situation with Ramos. But I see this as a competitive fight, but I think Tsarukyan is going to be a step ahead. And he's going to be the one dictating and controlling this fight, whether it be on the feet or on the ground. He's going to be choosing whether the fight goes to the ground or not. If Ramos tries to shoot his takedown, I see him stuffing it with relative ease. Or not ease, but, being able to neutralize the takedown if he needs to. Maybe not like no instant, like what's name, Ramos' takedown defense is just, I don't know. Or his takedown defense is just so good, or Ramos' takedown offense is just so poor. It's just like, I just feel like he's going to be able to neutralize for the most part. Not easily, but I think he'll be able to neutralize it. And like I said, dictate where the fight is going and be one step ahead. Competitive, but clear win for Tsarukyan. So in this fight, I got Ramos Tsarukyan via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, Malcolm Gordon versus Amir Albazi. So this Malcolm Gordon, like the bootleg Mighty Mouse from what I'm saying, even though he's like much bigger than Mighty Mouse. He's a big one flyweight. I think he's 5'7", 71-inch reach. And a 71-inch reach is pretty long for like welterweights, about average for light heavyweight. So pretty long reach. The guy that's 125 has the reach of like the average reach of a guy's like 185 and 205, so well above his weight class. He has that reach. Height wise, he's not the tallest. I mean, for those weight classes, but for his weight class, he's gigantic. 5'7", 71-inch reach, very long, very technical, credentialed BJJ. I think brown or black. He has really credentialed jiu-jitsu, clean striking, clean defense, and just very smooth fighter. Going against Amir Albazi, and in this fight, I think Malcolm Gordon has every single facet over Albazi. So he has height over him, like 5'7", 5'5", but that's not even the most important factor. I think Albazi and the wrestler might be close, But like grappling wise, Brett Johns. Malcolm Gordon's a better grappler. I think clearly the better grappler. I think not like super like wide better grappler, but it's significant enough that you can note it that he's the better grappler. Striking wise, I think overall it's a big significant difference in striking. I think a big significant fight IQ. Also, Albazi has a little bit chinny, doesn't really move his head much, kind of predictable out there. And I think Malcolm Gordon just, like I said, puts stuff together much better footwork, cleaner defense, cleaner striking, cleaner offense, cleaner combinations. I just really think it's a fight where Malcolm Gordon is just better. It's not saying that Amir Albazi is not a good fighter. I feel like Malcolm Gordon is just really better in every area. I think Albazi is a little bit more aggressive with his wrestling and his grappling. But Malcolm Gordon, I think, is just cleaner with his grappling. And I think he could, like I say, I think he could neutralize Albazi grappling. I think he could stuff his takedowns, set his own takedowns. I think on the feet, he could pick them apart. I think definitely he could touch that chin. Albazi's chin get touched a lot. He don't go all the way out, but he begin to drop. Like I see him get dropped like 3 times in one round. And going against a guy with that lift and that cleanness and that power that Malcolm Gordon presents, I think Malcolm Gordon will be able to find a lot of openings. I think he'll be able to touch Albazi's chin. And I'm not saying like anytime he wants, but basically when he needs to touch his chin, he'll find ways to touch that chin. And I think he touches, finds openings up the guard, around the guard in the fight. I think he eventually taps his chin, drops him, goes to the ground, and submits him. And I think it happens in the first round. So in this fight, I got Malcolm Gordon via first round submission. Now to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division, Brett Johns versus Montel Jackson. And look at this fight right here. I think this is a fight. I see it as a fight where I think Montel Jackson is just, as far as what the relevant tools or relevant skill sets in this fight, I think Montel Jackson has all the leans. He's taller, longer, the better striker, better boxer. He has that wrestling background and he's a solid grappler. I think he's actually a grappler first and a striker second, but sometimes his striking looks so good that you forget that he's a grappler first and a striker second. But I see this fight, I see like Montel Jackson exploiting and using his reach, throwing teeps to the body, jabbing Brett Johns up. I see Brett Johns trying to get in the inside, trying to land body shots, trying to land shots over the top. But I see Montel Jackson be able to cut off, angle off, keep jabbing, keep throwing teeps, keep chewing the leg up. Then when he counters him and has him hurt, I think he goes on attack, makes some takedowns. And I think that's kind of the course of fate. I don't think he'll hurt Brett Johns every single round like that to that degree, but I think he's going to mix it in, counter, be long, be lanky, throw out value, be clean, be sharp. And I think he'll mix in the grappling at times when he needs to or where he feels the need to, just like I said, put icing around, change the course of the fight, give Brett Johns a different look. I think Brett Johns will be in this fight, but I think it's going to be clear and above. It's going to be clear out that Montel Jackson is like 1, if not 2 steps ahead of Brett Johns. But nonetheless, a exciting fight, but I think Montel Jackson is going to be fully in the driver's seat in this one. So in this one, I got Montel Jackson via decision. Now on to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, Joseph Duffy versus Joel Alvarez. And a lot of these fights on the card have been very, very clear to me. As far as me, maybe some people might think it's unclear or may think this stuff is not as clear as I'm trying to make it. I'm making it out to seem. But looking at Joel Alvarez, I believe he's a young fighter. I'm not going to look too far later, but from what I'm seeing and what my memory about him, I think he's a pretty young fighter. The best thing about him right now is that he's young and he has a good frame. He has a pretty big, wide frame. Long and wide frame for the weight class. All he had to do is keep adding skill sets onto that and experience and working on his tools. And he could be a very dangerous fighter for many years in this weight class. But right now, I think Joseph Duffy is just clearly better than every. I think striking-wise, Joseph Duffy is probably one of the best boxers in MMA, like top 20, top 15 in MMA, and definitely up there in the lightweight division. And he's a very creative, very solid striker. Good jab, good box. Just good boxing, good footwork, good mixed up, good setups. His shots aren't very telegraphed. He very little telegraphed to his strikes, and so smooth and so creative with his striking. Underrated grappling, good mixture of good transition. He does a very solid fighter. If he went down the right, I'm not saying he was such a good fighter and did drugs and went down the wrong path but he didn't. I'm saying basically he easily, if the right fights came up or right situations came up or he had the right matchups, he could easily be a fighter that be top 15 caliber. I think easily. Sometimes in the lightweight division, so many different fighters that you get so many different matchups and so many different paths. And sometimes you go to matchups that kind of could be more difficult for you, or you could end up in situations where you just have fights where you just off, or they just don't go your way. But he's a fighter that he could be a problem for literally everyone in his weight class, literally everyone. That's what I'm saying. But going against Joel Alvarez, I just see him as a talent that's still green. I think Joseph Duffy like pretty much simplified. I think Joseph Duffy in a better area. I think striking is a clear advantage. I think he outbox him all day, making the takedowns, chew up his leg. And I think he could do, like I say, he could just do what he wants in this fight. But I see that as kind of fight with Joseph Duffy not really going for the finish in this one, respecting Alvarez, but nonetheless just picking him apart and is showing that he's a far more technical fighter in every single asset, every single facet of his fight, and just putting on a textbook performance against Alvarez to a clear-cut decision. So in this fight, I got Joseph Duffy via decision. Now to our next fight, we have a catchweight bout at 150, Grant Dawson versus Narimani. And this, yet again, is another fight where it's like, I'm going to say similar styles, because all these fights haven't been similar styles, but there's been a lot of them where there's been similar styles. And it's kind of similar strengths. They're both fighters that strength are probably more grappling. I think Narimani presents a little bit more power in his strikes, but more so he's a grappler. Grant Dawson, definitely more so of a grappler. But I think, even when I talk about how much Narimani has more power, I think Grant Dawson's the cleaner striker. I think he has a better chin between the two for the better competition. So better striking, not as much power, better striking, a little bit longer, little bit more filled out. Narimani's like a little bit short and compact, but I think Grant Dawson's a little bit lankier, but he's still not like a little, like one of these scrawny type guys. He's longer, but not as thick, but he got some size on him. I'm saying. So I think overall, I think Dawson's the bigger fighter. But I think he's the better striker. But Narimani has the power. But I think Grant Dawson just, even on the feet, he can win on the feet. He can win this fight anywhere it takes place, and I think he's going to win this fight everywhere. I think he wins on the feet. I think he outstrikes him on the feet, mixing the takedowns, and dominates Narimani on the ground, taking him down, getting transitions, landing ground and pound. I just think he just too much from his pace and his wrestling and his grappling, his relentless pace. I think he just, like I said, just outworks him from his jump on the feet and on the ground, mixing in takedowns, setting up transitions, and just dropping ground and pound on him, trying to look for that submission or look for Narimani to make mistakes. And I think he gets him to make a big mistake in that second round, and I think he latches onto submission and taps him out in that second round. So in this fight, I got Grant Dawson via second round submission. Now to our prelim headliner, we have in the light heavyweight division, Ibragimov versus Roman Dolidze. So in this fight right here, I think this is one of the clearest matchups to predict on the card. Not because one fighter is so good and one fighter is this and that. It's more so because Ibragimov just goes out there and just shows very limited fight IQ. Like, he comes out there in good shape. He's in good form. He has good attributes and decent skill set. Nothing great about him, but decent skill set. But he goes out there and just blows his wad, like in the first round, like every single fight. Like, he goes out there like he has only one speed, and he goes out there and just sprints until he's gassed, and then he becomes easy pickings. Now he's going against Roman Dolidze, who I think needs a lot more experience. I think he only has 6 fights, 6 wins. Level of competition looks very poor. He's training with a good team, and he has some credential background in grappling and some, like, not the highest level of grappling, not the highest level of striking, and it shows in his fights, but he at least shows technique, he at least shows composure. Like, his technique isn't always there yet. Like, I think he needs to work some technique. He got a good frame. He's big, muscular, and 6'3", good and filled out for 205. Like I said, got the good power, got a decent technique, but definitely needs a lot of work. Because I don't think his technique is at UFC caliber yet. But going against Ibragimov, where he just kind of just throws his technique out the window, I'm going to lean to the guy that actually uses his technique. Even though it might not be the best, it's still some technique versus Ibragimov, who goes out there and is like in the mosh pit and fighting in the mosh pit. So I feel like Ibragimov come out early trying to swing big looping shots. Dolidze is going to crack him with some big shots, maybe rock him, maybe stun him, but still like kind of a little bit sloppy in that first round. Then in the second round, Dolidze ducks under, takes him down, then taps out the already fatigued Ibragimov and gets him with the submission in that second round. So in this fight, I got Roman Dolidze via second round submission. And that concludes my fight predictions for the prelims of UFC Fight Night 172, Figueiredo versus Benavidez 2. And as always, thanks for watching.